Puppies! Relax! Hi everyone. I'm really excited because I have been working on making sourdough bread for probably a month and a half now, and I've gotten to the point where I have created my starter, and I think I've come up with the perfect recipe that's easy, simple, and super fun to make. I'm gonna teach you guys exactly how to do that. So there's a few different components to sourdough. So sourdough is different than regular bread because it uses just a starter made from flour and water to actually cultivate yeast and bacteria in the air. That creates a natural fermentation. The yeast and bacteria start to feed on the flour, and it creates carbon dioxide, which creates little gas bubbles, and those gas bubbles is how the sourdough bread rises when it's in the oven. This isn't a store-bought yeast situation. We are going to be using the sourdough starter that I already made. Now, making this is kind of a process, I'll be honest with you, and it's kind of an unsure process as well. So what you're gonna do to make this starter is take equal parts flour and then equal parts water, put them in a bowl, stir it around. It should be kind of like pasty almost. You need a food scale, you need whole wheat flour. The bacteria in the air really like to feed on the full part of the grain, if you will. And then let it sit overnight, and you're gonna feed it every day until you see life, until it passed the float test. We're basically gonna be creating new life, which is actually kind of cool and really exciting. If you don't want to do this whole process, you can go to your local baker and you can get some of their sourdough starter. They'll most likely give it to you for free. That's the easiest way out. We're gonna use the starter that I already have, and we're going to feed it because I've had this in the fridge for probably about a week and a half, and I haven't fed it. It has kind of started to leak some water, and that's just a sign that it needs to be fed. Because I want to yield with about 300 grams of starter, I want to feed 100 grams of starter with 100 grams of flour and 100 grams of water. So I've got my food scale. I'm going to measure 100 grams of starter, 100 grams of water, 100 grams of flour. We're going to mix this up just until there are no dry spots. I'm gonna put it into a weck jar. Honestly, one of these weck jars is probably the best way to go. It's not sealed tightly, so air can come in and get out, and you wanna allow the air to carry the bacteria and yeast into the flour, but you don't want it to dry out. We're just gonna wait until that doubles in size, and then we can go ahead and make our actual bread dough. This part is just the feeding of the starter. We wanna get it alive, we wanna get it awake. Wake up, let's go. It's time to make some bread. All right, I will see you guys back here in a little bit. All right, so many exciting things are happening right now. Look at this sourdough starter. It's literally bubbling over. I ended up doing another batch because I'm gonna do a few loaves of bread tonight. This is the one that I was showing you earlier. As you can see, where the sourdough starter started, and it's about double in size, that little black line right there. And look how bubbly it is. Oh my gosh. Yes, it looks gorgeous. That is life right there, baby. That is life. This process is exactly what makes the bread so good for us. Bacteria. This natural fermentation process actually makes the nutrients in sourdough bread more available for your body to break down. It's a beautiful thing. I think what we should do is the float test. This is how you know if your sourdough starter is ready. Right now, let's pray to God that it actually works. Okay, let me get a bowl. I've got a little tiny bowl of water here, and we're gonna drop a little piece of our starter into it, and if it floats, we're good. So, send a little prayer. It floats! Can you see it? That means we've got lots and lots of air in there. so that means we're good to go. Now, the ratio for this recipe, when I was developing it, was really important to me because I wanted something that was easy, that people could remember, and I just wanted to simplify the process. 300 grams of our starter, 600 grams of water, and 900 grams of flour, and then our salt, which would be 20 grams, mixed in with a little bit of that water. I don't feel like doing an initial autolyse and then having to incorporate the salt, and then so we're gonna see how this goes, and I think we're gonna be fine. Do the starter first. So I'm gonna put the salt in the water to dissolve a little bit. We're gonna do 600 grams of water, 900 grams of flour, so 750 grams of white bread flour, 150 grams of a spelt whole wheat mix. Bread flour just has a higher protein content in it, so it's gonna make the bread nice and glutinous and elastic. All right, so we're gonna dump it out and start to knead. Pushing, kind of like folding it in towards me and then pressing it down. Scoop, slap, and fold. Scoop. I know everyone is like, can't you just do that in like a mixer or something? Absolutely, totally. All right, I'm starting to see, you see that little light pocket? You can't really see anything here. It's nice and glutinous. Stir it into a bowl. Cover it. We're gonna let it proof for 3 hours, and then we'll see what happens. So it's been 3 hours. It's late at night. I have changed. I have taken all of my makeup off, done my skincare routine, put my hair up in a bun with the scrunchie that I just found from when I was 2 years old. I was over at my grandmother's this afternoon and she was cleaning out her drawers and she found this scrunchie. I swear, the dress that matched this scrunchie, I didn't take off for probably my entire childhood. It is a very special moment right now. Okay, we're gonna take this beautiful puppy. We're gonna take him out, lay him on here, shape him, and throw him in the proving basket. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. It's like so smooth, like. So let's sprinkle our proving basket with some flour. So when we put this dough in there upside down, it doesn't stick. Liberally. Let's grab my dough scraper. Boom. And throw them in upside down, I think. Yes. Yay. So I'm gonna cover this, throw it in the fridge, and we will have fresh baked bread. Sourdough bread tomorrow morning. Oh, it's gonna be so exciting. Good morning, everyone. So it's the next morning and it's the moment of truth. I have our lovely sourdough here that's been proving in the fridge for probably about 8 to 10 hours. It's got a nice little bounce to it, so we know it's risen, and I actually took this out of the fridge about an hour ago so that it could kind of take the chill off of it. I have a cast iron Dutch oven preheating in the oven on 500 degrees. I'm gonna grab my Dutch oven because it's extremely hot. Okay, nice big Dutch oven, little bit of bench flour, real nice and simple. Boom. There we go. Wow, that was easier than I thought. Beautiful, we got this beautiful pattern. I gotta take a picture, oh my gosh. So pretty. Oh, I'm having such a moment right now. All right, So we're gonna score the bread. So basically I'm gonna create a few little divots in it. I don't really know if there's a purpose for it, but I'm assuming to help the bread rise a little bit more. I don't know, anybody can answer that? And I just like to do this before I put it into the cast iron pot because I don't wanna burn myself while sticking my hand into a hot pot. It just doesn't seem safe. All right, so I'm gonna go about maybe a 1/2 inch deep, 2, 3. I'm trying to get up underneath him. I think I'm gonna need to double do this. Thank God GT Rebs has the world's largest spatula. There we go, beautiful. All right, it looks great. All right, we've got our lid. Now, 450 degrees for 20 minutes, and then we're going to take the lid off. The reason why we're keeping the lid on for the first 25 minutes is because we want to trap the steam in there. So if we didn't put the lid on, then the crust would form before the bread had fully risen, and you'd get this like big bulge out the side. So, yes. Now we just wait. Let's see. Ooh! It looks so good! Ah, this is gonna be such a good loaf of sourdough bread. I gotta take a picture of it right now. It looks so good. Like, this is the most legit sourdough ever. Bailey, can you come here for a second? Like, this is a very proud moment. Touch it. Go like this. Does it sound hollow?
Yeah.
That means it
I'm
worked.
gonna eat it.
You wanna try some? All right. So this is an Ohio staple, peppers and oil, canned peppers and oil. Do you know what's in these? Peppers, oil, but there's like oregano, there's some spices, there's garlic, I think, in them. It's an Ohio classic. So we're gonna cut this gorgeous loaf. Like, we've got a nice kind of hard crust, a nice hollow bottom. Ah, I could already tell. It's gonna be amazing. Ooh! Oh, it looks good. You got some air pockets. That's good. It's kind of nice and spongy. It's hot. Look at that big ass air bubble. Everybody, we have Bailey. Come here, come here. Hi. I'm gonna do this one.
Good. That crust is so nice and crunchy.
There's definitely vinegar in the peppers as well.
Mm-hmm.
The inside is pretty chewy.
It's like exactly how you want your cookies. Like nice and soft on the inside and then
I think I can officially say that I've nailed the sourdough bread. Well, I feel like the sourdough chronicles are coming to an end. I feel like for the past month and a half, I've been trying to perfect this recipe, and finally, we're there. It's like the end of an era. If you guys want to check out this recipe, go to my website, Taylor Made Well. The recipe will be up there along with the video, and yeah, I hope to see you guys making this. I hope this simple, easy tutorial on how to make sourdough bread inspires you to try bread making and go out to your local baker and get some sourdough starter and start baking bread for yourself, because it's simple, it's easy, and it's absolutely delicious. That's all.